Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna actually do an epoxy coating on my father-in-law's garage. His garage has a paint layer. What we have to do today, which is really the proper way to prep your garage for any kind of epoxy coating. In the past, all I've done is etch the concrete because most of my garages that I've done it on, the concrete was pretty clean already. So today we're gonna be prepping the floor and then I'm gonna be coating it tomorrow, and the following day we're gonna be doing a clear coat. So stay tuned. So right here, we've got a floor grinder. This floor grinder's got some diamond bits on it right now, which is designed to grind and cut up this concrete. In addition to that, with every floor grinder, you need a vacuum system to suck all the debris and dust out of the space while you're working so you don't get it all over the place. So these two things today is gonna make our jobs pretty quick and easy. These things are pretty expensive to rent as a set. I think it's like $300 or $400 a day. It's not cheap. Luckily, we knew someone that had one of these, so we just borrowed it from them. So we're using it today to make this job pretty easy and simple and cheap for us. Obviously, the first thing you gotta do with any of these projects is make sure your whole garage floor is cleared out and everything's off the floor, so that way you can actually grind and do work. Right now, I just got the refrigerator to remove and that's it. Everything else is pretty easy to push out of the way, including the shoes and all this other stuff. We've got all this crap over here, but we can probably just leave it there since we got the grinder. The grinder and the vacuum is gonna pretty much suck all that up anyways. And the whole reason why you will need to grind the concrete is so your epoxy actually sticks. With this layer of paint on here, the epoxy will not stick to any kind of paint or other coating that's on the floor already unless it's already an epoxy coating. This is that cheap epoxy paint, the single stage paint. It's just like regular paint. So we want to take this all off. Since we're grinding it, we don't have to do the etching step. Usually when you buy these kits, you use the etch. These days they use like a citric etch, which is not as effective as the etch they used to recommend. Back in the day, they just told you to use muriatic acid, which is probably the proper way to etch concrete anyways. It's a lot faster. That citric stuff doesn't work as fast. Oh yeah, got this thing about halfway done now. That diamond cutter does a number on this thing and it does it quick too. I wasn't expecting it to do much, but after I swept it with that little squeegee thing right there makes it nice and neat. Look at that, all a nice row right there. I'm gonna go ahead and just suck that up. Vacuum, a nice satisfying row. Just suck it all into the bag where it's storing it over there, and then we'll continue on the rest. This way with the squeegee, I know all the spots I need to come back on to get it better to grind down all the paint. You can see right there, there's still a bunch of paint here. Certain areas like this are nice and clean right here. So we got done grinding the floors and everything. I just want to go over the tools we use for this project. So I've got this Husqvarna right here floor grinder. This thing's a $7,500 tool, brand new. A lot of places charge like $300 a day to rent just this machine. To rent the vacuum, this is like another like $100 a day too. So it's like a $400 a day rental thing to do. Me doing these floors personally, this is like my 4th floor I've done. The grinding makes the job a lot easier versus what I used to do was just try to clean it all with a pressure cleaner and then etch it and do all that. So using this machine, we skip the whole etching process and we just go straight to grinding and then washing it down. We don't have to etch, we don't have to pressure clean, we don't have to do all that, and no degreasing and all that. So this is usually the best way to do it, and you also guarantee the epoxy adhesion to the floor versus using the etching and all that. My last project at my own house, I didn't grind it because I didn't have access to one of these grinders, and I really wish I would have used the grinder for the floor just to give it a better surface to adhere to. Some of the spots in my floor are actually lifting at home and I actually have to redo it, but it's all under warranty for the lifting part. So just renting that is $400 a day. Then you have the actual grinding bits. This is a expendable thing because you actually use it up. For this, I started with a new diamond bit, and it looks like most of them I've taken down. A few of them I took down to nothing, just the actual plate. So these things right here are $30 each, and this machine uses 9 of them. That's $270 right there just in bits that we had. So right there, that's pretty expensive too. But if you're going through all this effort already, the prep process is really the most costly as far as time and materials go just to get it right. Once you get down to actual epoxy and the clear coat and all that other stuff, that's like nothing compared to the prep and the cost of the prep. Now I understand why these contractors charge so much to do this, because this stuff right here, just owning the machine is going to cost you the maintenance of the machine. You know, this is a $7,500 machine. That's $2,000 or $3,000 vacuum. That's a $10,000 setup right there already. Plus, every time they do a job, they expect to spend probably another $270 just on bits to cut the floor. All right, it's the next morning and everything is dried and there's no dust on this floor. You can see all the concrete the way it used to be before they painted it last time. We were able to grind everything off. You can see the swirl marks and everything in there. So that's good right now for opening up all the pores and scuffing everything up. So we'll go ahead and just blow all the dust out with a leaf blower. All around the edges where the thing couldn't get, we still have all the paint. So I'm gonna go ahead and check all that. Any areas that look like it's lifting or not adhering well, I'm gonna go hit it with a flap disc on the grinder just to make sure everything is nice and clean and that the new epoxy doesn't lift up on the edges there. But usually a lot of the edges you don't really have to worry about. Those are not high traffic areas, so as long as you get a good coat on there with the new epoxy, it should stay. Just be careful on any spots where the paint's actually flaking. You want to go ahead and just sand that down, make sure it's good down to the concrete. What we're using is the epoxyshield professional floor coating. This is different than the stuff that you buy down at Home Depot, which is the garage coating. This one's actually a solvent base versus the water base that you buy down at Home Depot. I chose this one because I've had very good luck with it on my old garage and my sister's garage, and this is going to be the 3rd place I'm going to be using this one. In addition to that, I ended up buying 6 more of these flake bags. We want to make this floor really flaky in this place. The kit right here comes with these 2 big bags already. I went ahead and bought 6 more of these just to make it extra flaky in here. Once we're done with this, I'm going to use the Epoxy Clear so we get all this stuff covered up and sealed down and have a protective layer on top of it all. One thing to note is this kit only comes with the 2 gallons of paint. The chips and instructions. There's no etch, there's no roller, there's nothing else with this kit. So just keep that in mind when you're buying this, that you need to pick up some extras. If you need the anti-skid, you'll need that too because it doesn't come with anti-skid. All right, so we're about to mix this stuff up. So it comes in 2 gallons. It'll be a part A and a part B. What I'm gonna do is pour it all into this bucket right here. We wanna pour all of 1 gallon into there, and then we wanna pour the activator in it. And then we want to power mix it. They recommend you power mix this to get a thorough, evenly mixed solution so that way everything activates. You gotta look at the chart on here. So Right now it's like 90 degrees out here, 80 to 90 degrees, so we got to let this thing sit for like 30 minutes before we start actually putting it on the floor. So right now with it being so warm, the pot time they say is about 2 hours before it gets hard, so you want to make sure you finish up your coating before the 2 hours. So as you guys saw us coating the floor, you saw we were just walking all over the epoxy, and we were able to do that with these spike shoes right here. This is the second time I've used the spike shoes, and I can't believe I used to do this without the spike shoes. This thing makes the job so much easier just because it lets you actually walk over everything and walk wherever you want in the garage. You don't have to worry about where you're stepping. The first two epoxy jobs I did for my first house and my sister's house, we just used our regular shoes and we worked our way from the inside all the way out. out, being careful not to step on anything. And then when we broadcast the flakes, we had to do it as we went because we couldn't step back on to actually check where we laid down everything. Plus back then we only used one bag or 2 bags that came with a kit, and we tried to cover as much as we could with those bags. On this project I decided to buy those 6 extra bags, so we had 8 total bags, and that was the best decision ever to do that, just because I wanted the floor to be covered all in flake just to give it that wow factor. And spending that extra $70 or $80 on those extra flakes made a big ass difference. You're already spending $200 on the kit, you might as well spend extra and get the flakes. For all these different materials, products, and everything I use on this video, go ahead and check out the links down in the description to Amazon. I got most of this on Amazon. Even the floor coating I got on the Amazon. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm using the professional floor coating, which you can't buy down at Home Depot or Lowe's, so you actually have to order that. Alright, so it's the next morning and everything is dried and cured right now. All the flakes are on the ground. A lot of them are loose. They're stuck to the bottom of my feet, as you can see there. But yeah, we're gonna definitely have to clear coat this if you're gonna use this many flakes just to seal everything in. So I'll go ahead and get that prepped. You only have an hour once you mix the clear coat to actually apply it, but it should go quick just because we have a smooth surface now and all we're doing is just covering it with clear. So usually with the clear coat, all you do is take the bag out, bust it between the 2 sides and mix it inside the bag. But we had a little shipping mishap here where one side, I think the clear side, ended up leaking a little bit. It's all still contained on the clear bag there, so I'm gonna try to salvage as much as I can. Hopefully this works and we didn't lose too much where we don't have enough, but I gotta keep on moving forward because this is all I have, and this stuff's currently back ordered right now and it's hard to find locally also, so I just gotta work with what I have. So I'm gonna just go ahead and mix it in the bucket with the spinner right there on the drill instead of busting it inside the pack. Oh yeah, the clear is done. It's so satisfying seeing how glossy and nice everything looks after 3 days of labor. After I was done, I still had some material left, so I went through and made sure I saw nice reflections on all the edges and I didn't have any dry spots, so everything is nice and glossy. It flowed out nicely. So you're gonna let this thing sit for 3 or 4 days before you park anything on here or move anything heavy. The one thing I noticed when I was rolling it is a lot of this flakes didn't stick just because they sit on top of each other. So you definitely need the clear coat after this much flake to actually get it to stick and actually seal it in. Without the clear coat, you're just gonna have flake everywhere. But I always recommend doing the clear coat when you do these projects just because it gives you another layer of protection. Hey guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video on doing the floor coating. As you can see, it was 3 hard days of labor, but we finally got it done. But this project is definitely doable as a single person if you have all the right equipment and you have the patience and time. If you guys found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and stay on top of all my different DIY content, whether it's on the car, on the house, or in the garage, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Turn on bell notifications to stay on top of all my different videos. Remember guys, for all these projects, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I want to thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll talk to you guys next time.